Today, I speak not as a debater, not as a politician, not as someone chasing views. I speak as a Muslim woman who is exhausted to her soul, exhausted from hypocrisy, exhausted from double standards, exhausted from watching the world pretend it doesn't see the truth. Tell me, how is it fair that speaking against Jews is immediately labeled anti-Semitism, yet Arabs, who are just as Semitic, can be insulted, dehumanized, mocked publicly, and that doesn't count as anti-Semitism at all? How does the world twist definitions depending on who is convenient to protect and who is convenient to attack? And how is it that Christians shout about Judeo-Christian values, while ignoring the simple fact that according to their own belief, the Jewish leadership of that time plotted against Jesus, and in the Talmud he is mocked and insulted? How can you claim shared values when you don't even know your own history? Then look at the global hypocrisy surrounding Muslims. We are 25% of the world's population, 1 in every 4 people on Earth. Yet constant criticism of Muslims is normalized, celebrated even. But if one Muslim reacts angrily, one Muslim defends their prophet, one Muslim raises their voice, suddenly the whole world is in shock. Suddenly that one person represents 2 billion of us. And while Muslims are shouted at, cursed, mocked, stereotyped, and insulted, the world says, it's just free speech. But if we respond, suddenly our voices become extremism. How is it okay for our prophet to be mocked openly, but not okay for us to defend him? How is it okay for people to scream at us, but not okay for us to question why? Where is the fairness? Where is the logic? Where is the humanity? And then, look at Palestine, the place where injustice isn't hidden anymore. It's live-streamed. We are literally watching one-day-old babies killed, newborns labeled terrorists, infants who never spoke a word, never walked, never harmed anyone, wiped out. And instead of outrage, people defend it. They justify it. They say it is self-defense. What kind of world do we live in where a baby just born into this world is called the T-word? How is anyone defending such cruelty? Where has conscience gone? Has humanity died? And on the other side, young Jewish children are raised being taught that Arabs and Muslims are less than, that we are their enemy. Videos show them chanting hate, celebrating deaths, pointing at Palestinians as if they are not human beings. So ask yourself, how can peace ever exist if hate is taught from childhood? How can justice exist when one side is raised to dehumanize the other? Worse, lies are now being spread globally to make Christians hate Muslims. Entire campaigns, influencers, commentators, Christian apologists being funded and fed scripts to demonize Islam so that Muslims remain the enemy in Western minds. And the irony? Muslims defended Christians for 400 years, protected churches, gave sanctuary to Jesus' followers, gave refuge when others persecuted them. And don't forget, in the same, Muslims they vilify today are the ones who sheltered Jews for centuries. From the Ottomans protecting them after the Spanish Inquisition, to Muslims saving Jewish families in World War II. History remembers, even if people pretend it doesn't. Today we are painted as the villains. Then comes the biggest irony of all. When we talk about violence, history is clear, painfully clear. Most major wars were not started by Muslims. World War I, Christian majority empires. And II, Nazi Germany, a Christian majority nation. Crusades, Christian kingdoms invading Muslim lands. Colonialism, Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, all Christian majority nations invading, enslaving, destroying. Soviet Union, atheist regime killing millions. Mao's China, atheist rule killing tens of millions. Vietnam, Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, initiated by Western Christian majority governments. Israel today, killing civilians, children, newborns. Yet somehow, Muslims are blamed as the violent ones? How can statistics say one thing but media shows the opposite? Unless the media is paid, influenced, controlled. Unless truth doesn't matter. Only agendas. And yes, every community has criminals. Muslims too. I'm not denying it. But why is it that only Muslims get blamed collectively? Why is our entire religion judged by the actions of a few, while other communities are protected, even when their issues are far bigger? Gun violence, drug epidemics, sexual abuse, trafficking, pedo rings with powerful elites involved. Yet no one says all Christians, or all atheists, or all Jews. But for Muslims, one mistake, and suddenly 2 billion people are responsible. And we hear lectures about forced marriages in some Muslim countries. And yes, those practices are wrong. But where is the outrage about Trump and Epstein? Where are the protests? Where is the moral consistency? Why is injustice selective? I know it's the end times, and I know the world has flipped truth upside down. But I am tired. Tired of watching people scream in our faces while we are expected to stay silent. Tired of watching our prophet insulted while we're told to. Relax. Tired of being blamed for wars we did not start. Tired of watching people like God Logic and Jake Lang twist our sacred texts for money, views, and clicks. So let me say this clearly. If you don't want to revert to Islam, don't. Islam does not force anyone. Islam has no compulsion in religion. We only spread the message. The choice is yours. Your path is yours. Your belief is your own responsibility. But what we will not accept is lies. We will not accept hate sold as freedom. We will not accept babies being killed and called terrorists. We will not accept being demonized while we bury our dead. If you want to preach your religion, go ahead. Talk about your faith. Share your scripture. But stop attacking ours. Stop twisting Islam just to gain followers. Stop monetizing hate against Muslims. Muslims are not trying to impose Sharia on the world. If we wanted Sharia, we would move to Malaysia, UAE, or other Muslim countries where Islam and modern life coexist beautifully. Islam commands us to obey the law of the land, and we do. We contribute. We help our neighbors. We build safe, clean communities. We give charity. We raise families. And still, no credit is given. Instead, our suffering is ignored. Our dead children are ignored. Our cries are ignored. But I will not stay silent. We will not stay silent. On the day of judgment, every lie, every distortion, every drop of innocent blood, especially the blood of a one-day-old baby, will be accounted for. And I stand as a witness today. Enough is enough.